Imagine you're a very talented black man. You're smart. Some ladies may even consider you good looking, although you'll never be as good looking as me.
Stop the cap.
You earn a lot of money, everything you do turns into gold, and one day you decide that you will run for a state senator, and you win. You win by a landslide. Within 4 years, you'll become the United States president. Not only the first president that's considered black, or black president of the United States. You're now the leader of the free world. But when you get home at night, you're actually getting treated like a little B-snotch.
Got him.
Your wife calls the shots. She tells you what you can do and what you can't do. When you can go to the bathroom, you're still washing dishes. And hey, it is what it is. But you know, when the camera's on, everything is okay. Who would this person be? That would be Barack Obama. Rewind. Barack Obama is a very talented, smart guy. He's had so many accolades in his career, we can't count them all. And being married to a black woman has helped him in all of this. Barack Obama is almost like a deity in the African American community, at least he was. And much of that was because he was married to Michelle Obama. Now remember, Barack Obama is half Kenyan, half white. And he never dated black women when he was a student in Occidental College or Columbia. It wasn't until he got into law school that he met Michelle Obama. And that has been the first and only black woman that he's ever dated, despite the fact his real attraction is to white women. Wait, stop the show. Actually, his attraction could be to white men.
What?
It was discovered that Barack Obama admitted that he had a homosexual fantasy and, you know, those things he thought about when he was an undergrad. But again, he's never talked about that publicly. It's just been expressed in his own writing. But fast forward! But ever since then, he's been the epitome of a strong black man and a faithful mate to his wife.
Honestly, for the black male, I just want you to know, like, if I could ever thank Barack Obama for anything, it has nothing to do with him being the first black president. It has nothing to do with him being cool and not necessarily doing anything to embarrass the country as the president. It was just like, hey, bro, thank God you was actually married to a black woman. Because Lord knows if you would have just brought any white woman around, us black dudes would have had to hear about that shit forever. Like, forever.
I mean, Barack Obama and Michelle Obama were the first, like, big power couple in the black community that got a lot of respect in the late 2000s. This was ever before we saw people like Remy Ma and Papoose or Beyonce and Jay-Z. They are the standard for the black community. But what we've noticed is that Barack Obama, he has a lot of support from black women. Not because he's married to Michelle Obama, it's that because he's historically been very hard on black men, while at the same time never criticizing black women. Throughout his presidency and after, Barack Obama has been trying to whip African American men into shape, for whatever reason that is, and he talks down to black men quite often to get them to shape for him.
These aren't ordinary times, and these are not ordinary elections. You lucky Michelle's not here. She really talking.
Now, in this instance, this is Barack Obama telling, you know, these black men that, hey, you guys are pretty much lucky that Michelle Obama is not here, because if Michelle Obama was here, it'd even be worse, man. So you guys need to get out there and vote for Kamala. And it got worse.
Communities is that we had not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers.
In the same situation, he's saying, listen, guys, you are not voting for Kamala Harris like you guys were voting for me when I was running, and I'm concerned about that. Now, this is interesting because the Obamas didn't really authorize or endorse Kamala Harris until much later, they didn't want her to be the presidential candidate at all. They didn't want Joe Biden because of his health, but they really didn't like it, but they had to do something because Trump was too strong. But again, we hear Barack Obama basically taking the side of black women and saying, listen, you brothers got to get out here and vote for Kamala Harris, without even asking black men, well, why is it that the numbers are low? Why are black men not interested in voting Democratic? What is going on with black men? Why do black men feel the way they do? But it didn't matter. All it was is go out there and do what I'm telling you to do because, I'm Barack Obama and we got to support the Democratic Party and we need to get behind Kamala Harris and you guys should be okay with the female leadership. Now, depending on who you are, you may be okay with male leadership or female leadership. Whichever you want to do is, like I said, it's up to you. But leadership should always come with a certain level of respect. If you're going to give your time and submit to a woman or submit to a man and, they have some level of authority over you or they recognize your authority, it should be a level of respect that, basically they should honor whoever you are, husband, wife, employee, manager, or something, because with respect comes appreciation. And Michelle Obama had a particular podcast in which she said something interesting about Barack.
It's about what he needs as a grown man in the world. That would be.
You should have threw a boy in the mix.
I would. I'm so glad I didn't have a boy.
Yeah.
Because he would have been a Barack Obama.
Baby Barack. It would have been amazing.
No, I would have felt for him.
Now, in this instance, she's saying that, hey, she's glad that she never had a son by Barack Obama because, it could have been this or that. And she kind of played it off, and you can infer that this is a joke, but then you could not infer it's a joke. Now, be honest, if it was the other way around, let's say if Barack Obama's on the podcast, would he ever joke like that? Could he ever say, I'm so glad I didn't have another daughter by Michelle Obama? Because, woo, that thing would have been crazy. Like he would be canceled, right? And it would show completely that he has no respect for his wife. And when people got into the comment section, they expressed this wholeheartedly. This person, Red Alert, says, it's not obvious Michelle despises Barack. She knows he's as queer as they come. As opposed to, he would have been a Michael Obama? No.
Damn.
Like, these are allegations that Michelle Obama is not a real woman and that she's technically a man, which is false. I don't like that. I think Michelle Obama is, you may not like how she, does things, but Michelle Obama's from our community, right? We should not disrespect her like that. But people have always said that Elon Musk's dad said something similar. This person says, however you may feel about them, this is such an awful thing to say about someone you had kids with. Even his daughters will exhibit his traits, and now they'll be self-conscious of their own behavior whenever they're around their mother now. Another individual says, I'm getting a strong feeling that Michelle Obama doesn't have a very high opinion of Barack Hussein Obama.
He's right,
Eagle Eye says she never had any daughters either. Another reference that Michelle Obama is somehow not a woman. This person goes, no one says this about their husband unless they despise them. I would never say this about having a daughter with my wife. It's classless and a great big neon sign that you don't like your spouse. Now, I just want to say this for everybody who has appreciated Barack Obama for being a faithful, loving husband, being with a woman that has 2 kids, reaching every goal in his lifetime, one of them becoming the United States president. And so my question is, what is the reward if you're a black man? You have spoken on the behalf of black women. You have castigated other black men for not supporting black women. And then the woman that you have kids with will go on her podcast and denigrate you like this. Well, what does that say to other black men? It says that, well, it's not worth it if this is going to be your situation. Because if your woman has no problem with going on the mic and disrespecting you like that, even if it's a joke, it shows how she really feels about you. And I noticed that a lot of men, whether it's in the black community or any other community, the guys that continuously come after other men and try to basically support women's rights, and women's rights should be supported. But I don't think that women's rights should be supported at the denigration of men, okay? And when we denigrate men, we typically never ask men, why do you feel this way? Why is your heart changed towards this certain topic? What do you feel like society or this political party is doing so that you have lost hope in it? We don't do that, right? Society doesn't do that. Society would rather just denigrate men on the behalf of the fact that you're afraid of female leadership and you're sexist and somehow you're misogynist because you're not respectful of that. And then once you go head on and you buy that train ticket to Barack Obamaville, what you're doing is you're setting yourself up to be disrespected. Then you wonder why black men respond in the black community in the ways that they do when you see men not incentivized to have kids, or men not wanting to get married, or when something happens and a woman needs help and a man is there just minding his own business or doesn't want to get involved. Well, it's because of things like this, right? And we're not saying that every woman is disrespectful in the way that Michelle Obama is, but I'll tell you one thing. Michelle Obama is very respected by so many powerful black women, such as Beyonce and Oprah Winfrey. And the reality is, I hate to say this, but we would not know Michelle Obama had it not be for Barack Obama, okay? And I know that she also helped him, but because it was Barack Obama, that's why we know about Michelle Obama. And if she feels this way about him, it's something that she should never discuss publicly. There are a lot of people in my life that I have a lot of nasty things to say about them or that I don't respect, okay? But if I've ever had a loving relationship with them before, or if I ever had a good relationship with them at one time, then I could respect them enough not to even say something like that, because we know damn well Michelle Obama's feelings would be hurt if Barack Obama said the same thing about her. And if he was to check her about it, she'd be like, well, why do you care? Like, just get over it. But she could never get over it. And this is why so many men don't want to become the next guy simping for women and basically castigating other men on their behalf, because you're going to get castigated on the behalf. You're not going to live a life of where you're being disrespected and misunderstood. And nobody wants to sign up for that. And I don't think a lot of young guys want to sign up for that. What's the whole point of becoming a president, a Harvard lawyer, the leader of the free world, just so that your wife can disrespect you in your 50s and 60s, a time where you have accomplished so much as a world leader, and you're going out like this? So guys, what do you think? It's your boy Shady Jackson back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.